Hello, welcome all HR representatives, all CEOs, all CFOs, and anyone interested in dating in the workplace and the controversy it starts. We'd like to welcome you to our panel. There are some rules that we will be following today. For instance, each panelist will have 1 minute and 30 seconds to answer each of our questions. There will be no interruptions from the panelists, and we'd like to ask you to hold all of your questions until the last minutes of our presentation, where there will be 3 minutes allotted time for that. If they do go over their 1 minute and 30 seconds, I will be interrupting them politely to move on to the next panelist. There will also be 3 questions. The purpose of our presentation today and panel discussion is to give you some insight on the current controversy of dating in the workplace and to help you maybe pick a position or a policy for your own company. I'd like to introduce Brooke Rigby. She is a regional manager of Three Forks, Central Texas. She's the member of the CRO board, and she works with intercompany dating policies every day. Next to her is Crystal Joseph. She's the floor manager of IBM Austin, Texas, and she sees relationships head south and has a degree in business from NYU. To the right of Crystal is Cutter Runty. He's a previous HR Pepsi employee at Employee, and he specializes in employee-to-employee contact, and he's currently the PR representative at Pepsi Cola Company. To the right of Cutter is Evan Doremus, and he is the CEO of Google and also specializes in employee-to-employee contact. Now we're going to start with the questions we will be asking today. So, Brooke, should dating in the workplace be tolerated? Why or why not?
I'm Brooke Rigby, and as the current floor manager at Three Forks of Austin, I think that dating in the workplace should be allowed. Not only would it be sort of ridiculous to ask people that are spending at least 40 hours a week together to not build any sort of feelings for each other when they're spending so much time together, but when you hire these employees, don't you expect them to be able to handle any sort of situation responsibly and efficiently? This arises the question in my mind of what is the boundary of the workplace also. So say there's 2 employees that are interested in each other and technically they work for the same company, where do the guidelines end of how close their contact is? Like, just because they work in the same room, say they're in completely different apartments in the office, I don't understand how their relationship would affect the workplace at all. According to attorney Ray Gallo, asking your employee to pick between their job or their relationship is an invasion of privacy. And I know as a floor manager, I would never want to ask one of my employees to have to choose between a job that they've probably been pursuing for a long time or someone that could possibly be their spouse. Also, in my mind, I think about if I was in the situation, what would I do? I think if anyone...
Thank you for your answer, Brooke. I'm going to have to cut you off and pass the question on to Crystal. Should dating in the workplace be tolerated? Why or why not?
Hello, I'm Crystal Joseph, and as Katie stated before, I'm the current floor manager of employees for IBM Austin. I do not think that dating in the workplace should be tolerated at all for numerous amounts of reasons. 1, it creates a hostile environment for others and the employees. 2, it's hard to remain objective if something happens in the workplace where it's someone's fault. Gossip and rumors can arise, and gossip and rumors can create office issues, and that leads to work getting denied. If you're dating in the workplace, it can threaten career advancements. If you're trying to get a promotion, being in a romantic relationship can prohibit this from moving up in the company. Problems can arise when the relationship goes south. Breakup causes loss of hours, work gets denied, and emotional distress occurs. Overall, the workplace becomes ineffective and work gets denied. Bottom line, dating in the workplace is not professional.
Thank you for your answer, Crystal. Cutter, do you think dating in the workplace should be tolerated? Why or why not?
I'm Cutter Runty. I'm the head of public relations at Pepsi and also have some past experience with human relations as well. I do believe that dating in the workplace should be allowed, mainly because of the amount of interaction in between the employees. Like Brooke said, you're around each other a lot, 40 hours a week roughly. You're seeing the same faces every day. It's not uncommon that you're going to have a connection with a couple of those people, as well as, maybe some chemistry there or whatnot. My next point is the lack of free time that each employee has if they are that busy. They're not going to have a lot of time to go out and see other people. They have to run errands as well. They have to hang out with some friends on their free time, you know, family members or what have you. But that's going to take away from time they have to go out and actually find someone different to hang out with, when it'd just be easier to actually know someone in the office and get to know them even better. According to Alliance Work Partners Organization, almost half of married couples today met at work. It's a pretty high statistic there, and it shows that it can work, that people can meet and still be successful in work as well as in marriage. And that is why I think that dating should be allowed in the workplace.
Thank you, Cutter, for that answer. Evan, do you think dating in the workplace should be tolerated? Why or why not?
Hello, I'm Evan Remus, and as the CEO of Google, I think that it isn't professional if you should date in the workplace, simply because you're there to do one thing and one thing only, and that is your job. You can get easily distracted and sidetracked by many things, especially the opposite sex, if you become infatuated with them. According to CompareHRIS.com, it says the line between private life and work life becomes blurred. And what this is saying is whenever you gain feelings or emotions for someone else, you become distracted of what you're really there to do, and you don't completely understand why you were hired. So this can stop productivity and can slow down the main point of your reasoning for being there. It's not a professional thing to do, and I just don't believe that it should be allowed.
Thank you for that answer, Evan. Moving on to our second question. Can intimate relations at work lead to favoritism? Why or why not? Brooke, could you answer that for us?
Well, as the current floor manager, I monitor the wait staff at a personal level, and I really haven't had a problem with favoritism at all so far. I think that actually, if someone's dating the workplace, they would strive to avoid favoritism even more so, because they would be trying to act so professional and show their manager that they wouldn't have a problem with this relationship, then it's not going to affect work. So I think that it doesn't lead to favoritism. Also, if there was ever a questionable situation, the company can request the employees to enter into a notification policy, which is where they're promising that their relationship will not interfere with their workplace at all, and that they will notify the company when they are entering into the relationship, and also if it ends, they will notify the company of this. So no, I don't think it leads to favoritism.
Thank you for your answer, Brooke. Crystal, can intimate relationships at work lead to favoritism? Why or why not?
Thank you, Katie. I do think that dating in the workplace can lead to favoritism. Suppose an employee is dating a manager. This will automatically give priority to that employee. This creates jealousy amongst the employees, which creates an unfairness between all the employees. Favoritism creates a perception that high performance will not be valued. If high performance is not valued, people will deny their work in their department or job and to strive to do well. This has a negative effect on turnover and associated cost. According to CareerIntelligence.com, Dr. Janet Blair-Page explains, in addition to this awkwardness, the relationship undoubtedly will create. There is a legal issue with respect to potential harassment or discrimination claims. And as we obviously know, any legal claims or issues towards a company is only a hindrance.
Thank you for your answer, Crystal. Cutter, can intimate relationships at work lead to favoritism? Why or why not?
Yes, I definitely think they can, but they shouldn't, because when you're in the workforce, you're considered a professional. And that comes, there's a couple aspects of professionalism. For instance, each worker needs to understand their priorities. Your priority is, number one, is to be there to work. You get paid to work for that company. You don't get paid to sit around and flirt with whoever it is that you're interested in. That's not why you're there in the first place. My next point is that each employee should focus on what's going to be best for the company. I don't think that picking favorites and giving someone special privileges is going to help the company out at all. So it shouldn't be allowed in the workplace to begin with. My next point is that favoritism is an act of immaturity. Someone who's immature shouldn't be running a company, let alone working in that company. I don't think that a boss is going to hire someone if they know that this is going to be a possibility. Favoritism has no place in the workroom and an environment, and it's going to tear down the community as well.
Thank you for that response, Cutter. Evan, do you think an intimate relationship at work can lead to favoritism? Why or why not?
Yes, I do believe it can lead to favoritism. According to healthsciencespirit.com, feelings is the inner body experience directly leading to the energy based off of these emotions. And And what that is saying is, based off of your emotions, you will take an action to do something, but it may not be the truth or what it really is. So if you're a boss and you're dating someone who's below you and you have feelings for them, you may bring them up, not really knowing the actual performance that they give, but based off you think that they're good enough just because you have emotions for them. And that's not fair. That can cause jealousy and many problems throughout the workplace. And concluding that it's just not good for it. Also, the actions that are taken off of this can directly affect the main idea and like productivity that can be held up.
Thank you for that response, Evan. Moving on to our third and final question. Do you think dating in the workplace can lead to a tense environment at work? Why or why not? Brooke, could you answer that for us?
I think that dating in the workplace would not lead to a tense environment as long as the relationship was open and allowed. And if everyone knew about it, I don't see any reason why people would feel awkward. I think that it's when a company tries to prohibit dating in the workplace is when it might get tense and uncomfortable for people, because maybe the people in the relationship would still try to sneak around and see each other, and then that would lead to gossip and people questioning what's going on between them. I think that it shouldn't be uncomfortable and that it's not going to be tense if they also enter into a love contract, which is where they're promising the company that they have no liability for what happens between the relationship and the coworkers, and that they understand the expectations and the dating policy by the company, and that there are no like sexual harassment issues or anything of that sort. According to a survey done by a company called Workplace Options, of people ages between 18 and 29 years old, 84% of these people said that they would support dating a coworker and that they would do it themselves. And 71% said that they think it would be a positive thing. So along with myself, not thinking that it would be tense, I also think it'd be positive, and a majority of the people in the workplace do also.
Thank you for that response, Brooke. I'm going to have to cut you off right there. Crystal, do you think dating in the workplace can lead to a tense environment at work? Why or why not?
I do indeed think that dating in the workplace is an intense environment. Like I said earlier in my first answer, I think it makes it a hostile environment for others and for the employees. Another factor would be breaches in confidentiality. For an example of this would be, imagine an employee dating someone in the HR department. In the beginning of that person's job, they sign a contract prohibiting any personal information being released. However, when you're dating someone, say the employee and the HR person, they build a trust and they build a bond. So things can be disclosed like salary, wages, and other personal information. If this relationship were to go south, all this information can get disclosed to people that don't need to be heard. Another example would be if a supervisor is dating an employee. This supervisor might find it hard to discipline and control his workplace. Say this employee comes to work late, she denies the uniform code. All of a sudden, the supervisor finds it hard to discipline the company's ethics and rules to this employee because they're more sensitive because they're dating in their workplace. As floor manager of IBM, I've seen it firsthand that this dating in the workplace simply just does not work.
Thank you for that response, Crystal. Cutter, do you think dating in the workplace can lead to a tense environment? Why or why not?
No, I don't think that it can lead to a tense environment for a couple of reasons. One is some companies do have policies, like Brooke mentioned earlier. They have policies that, they put in contracts that if you're going to have a relationship with this person, then these things need to happen. You need to follow these guidelines. But other companies, they don't have policies, which means they trust their employees enough to handle this maturely and in a professional manner and make sure that nothing kind of gets out of hand. According to humanresources.com, the love contract, also from what Brooke said, also can lead to some consequences if they don't abide by those rules, and those consequences can be transferring or firing. You have to think about, you're going to commit to someone, you also need to commit to this company, and if it's going to do something that affects this company, then both of you are going to be out of it.
Thank you for that response, Cutter. Evan, do you think dating in the workplace can lead to a tense environment? Why or why not?
Yes, I do believe that dating can lead to a tense environment simply because if a breakup occurs, then jealousy will be there, whether the professionals say that they will have it or not. It's going to happen. If you have emotions for someone and you see them with someone else, jealousy is a natural thing and it will happen. According to a professional dating coach, Stephen Xavier, he says, statistically speaking, if you start an office relationship, it's going to fail. That being said, I don't really see a point in beginning a relationship if it's going to end. There's no point to creating the drama that would come with it and dragging along everybody else in the office and dragging down the company if it's just going to statistically end. Also, he said it's always awkward and it's always messy. This means no matter who you are or what you say you can do, if you sign a contract, it doesn't matter. You're always going to be in an awkward situation if you lose someone that you care about and you see them with someone else. Let's take, for instance, if productivity agent A likes productivity agent B, but productivity agent C likes B, they both fight over each other, and that can take their eye off the prize of constantly taking the company up in the market, and that can bring the company down, as I said.
Thank you for that response, Evan. That concludes the 3 questions we have prepared for you today. To go over what each panelist had said, Brooke is for dating in the office. She mentioned things such as the love contract and disclosure. Crystal is against dating in the office. She said it can be messy, it can stop productivity, and it can cause tense environment in the workplace. Cutter is for dating in the workplace. He says it can lead to favoritism, but it shouldn't. He believes in the maturity of the professional in the company. And Evan is against dating in the workplace because he thinks feelings ultimately get in the way of the goal of the company. Now we'd like to thank the panelists for being here today and for your cooperation as an audience, and we'd like to open the floor for any questions you may have. Yes?
This is either for Crystal or Evan. Okay. Although you're against dating in the workplace, if you build feelings for a coworker, how would you handle this?
The question was, if you're against dating in the workplace, if you were to build feelings for a coworker, how would you handle this? So I'm going to pass that question on to Crystal, if you could elaborate, please.
Thank you. I would say that this is a professional setting. This isn't something that you need to bring to the workplace. If you do gain feelings as a manager, I don't want to know about it. It shouldn't be secret or it should be sneaky, but it just needs to know that this is a professional setting and that needs to be kept out.
Okay, any other questions? Yes?
How would you handle your employees if they had an irresponsible, intimate relationship?
The question was, how would you handle your employees if there was an irresponsible relationship? I'm going to pass that over to Brooke.
Thank you. I think that if I had 2 employees who were not handling their relationship responsibly, if they were entered into the love contract or the notification policy, I think the only way to discipline them would be to either transfer them to a different location of the company if that was possible, and then if things still didn't work out, unfortunately probably just terminate the whole employee from the company. I don't think that any immaturity or irresponsibility should be allowed, because we are allowing them to be irresponsible and date in the first place. I think we should have a high toleration for how they handle their relationship after that.
Thank you for your answers. Again, we'd just like to thank the panelists in the audience for your cooperation. And that concludes our panel.